I think my recording started. I blanked and forgot my intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. I'm JayJay. I'll be playing the funny little astronaut guy, because, I can't say that I don't play anybody else because it's not true, but also I frequent Drew way too much. With me today, I have the lovely, wonderful, super neat, cool, etc.
Hello, I'm Psy Dragon, also known as Psy. I am going to be playing Tessura, who is a lizard and has somehow avoided finding Drew in the months he's been at the farm. I don't know how this has happened. We're going to call Toon Logic on this, because some other forces at stake here, because somehow they have not run into each other in months.
It's
at all, ever.
Hilarious. But we're about to end this.
You go in, Drew goes in one door and Tess leaves out the other.
It's hilarious, but we're about to end this chaotic ass streak. So, obviously, we're at the farm, because, as I said in the FPS I had earlier today, I only have FPSs in two locations, the farm or the apartment. So, or at least that's what it feels
Drew
like.
Drew exists in two places.
Drew only ever exists in two places, the farm or the apartment. So, I'm going to say that, Drew is working on the farm, doing I don't know what, because I didn't think that far ahead. For anyone who was present in the FPS earlier today, I didn't think that far ahead then either. So,
They're here.
Yep.
Something's happening.
Yep. And they pass by, the area where they keep, I guess I should say where Lau keeps, hay bales. Drew isn't sure what they use the hay bales for yet, but they set up hay bales, so there's hay bales set up now. But, I'm going to say that the hay bales look kind of fucked up. They look kind of fucked up.
A little bit.
And there's kind of
like
hay.
One of them has like a little bit of a semi-cinched hole through part of it.
Yep. So
it's small, but it's like definitely something in it.
So for fun, I want you to roll perception and then stealth.
Perception, my beloved.
Well, actually, let's roll.
It's an FPS.
Let's roll perception first.
All right. That's a 14.
Okay, so you do hear footsteps of someone approaching. You can roll stealth if you want.
Yeah, and I think what is it? Oh, okay. That's a non-natural 20. I think this is probably behind the barn, because Tess usually frequents like the area behind the barn, so that there's no danger of him like accidentally throwing something near the house or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't want to accidentally hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying it's probably behind thing, and he like hears footsteps, and like he'd heard from Pepper that there was like bandits or something that she was worried about. So he's just like, I don't think Carminia's back again. And he's gonna probably just wander behind the nearest hay bale. It's probably a big one. It's probably just like, wander behind it. It's like one of those like big round ones, I think, or something.
Yep, they're like the big round circular ones. So you as you hide behind this hay bale, and you rolled a 14 in perception, so it's okay. You see this very fucking short little white guy approach.
You say short. He's taller than Tess is when Tess is on all fours.
Well, Tess is on all fours though. Yeah. Which is hilarious, considering literally every toon in existence is taller than Drew. Drew's only met two people shorter than them. I've said this on recording before, I'm sure. But, like, Drew has only met two people that are shorter than him. One of them's 5 and the other one's 4. So, means nothing.
Tess is shorter half the time.
Half the time. Anyway, so you see this little white guy approach and is kind of looking at the hay bales in concern. You have never seen this guy before in your life. What do you do?
Has no idea who this person is.
Nope. What do you do?
He's probably peeking over the top of a hay bale behind Drew.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just see like a hooded face just pop up over the top, and there he does a long stare, and he's just like, "Go on."
What?
He's just staring for a very long moment. And then there's probably just a
Drew kind of like stands up like in surprise and turns around and looks at you.
You have to look all the way up. Tessa's on top of, like, you
Yeah.
only see Tessa's head over the top of the hay bale because he's probably, like, climbing on it. Like,
Yep.
looking over it. Keeps him
Hello.
covered between him and a stranger. uh, uh, who are you? I don't know. There's so many people showing up here lately.
Drew kind of like blinks and like looks off, like their eyes like move to the side of the screen, like they're looking off to the side, and like looks back at you and just. I'm Drew. I'm the farmhand. Who are you?
I'm gonna roll history because I want to know if Tess remembers what Lau told him.
Oh
Okay,
boy.
okay. I think that's a 16. Okay, he's not he's trying his best to remember more things lately.
Okay.
He's not that much of a scatterbrain. Lau did tell him directly somebody who was helping out with the farm. I think there's a very quiet like sigh of like relief under Tess's breath, like, and then he probably like vanishes behind the hay bale again, like climbing back down, and then he like wanders around the side, and it's a really weird lizard in a cloak with big old funky spikes or something. It's a very weird tune, and then he's just like, oh, I think I'll mention somebody was around here besides Carmenia. I'm Tessura. I mean, or Tess. Either one works.
Drew kind of blinks, like. You can roll insight if you want.
I would love to roll insight. That's a flat roll. Let's see what he got.
Oh god. Oh god.
That is a nat 20.
Oh okay. Fuck. Okay. So
Tess can perceive.
He sure can. So with your nat 20, you get like internally just like, of course Lau knew about this, the weird lizard that's on the farm. Of course Lau knew about this and didn't tell me anything about it. Why am I not surprised that Lau just didn't tell me anything about the big weird lizard that lives here? They don't say any of that though.
A long-suffering look on their face or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they sure are sick to death of Lau's bullshit. Anyway.
Tess doesn't know anything about the fact he just knows that Lau knows who this person is. I love this.
So
Tess' first idea of like the way those two interact is Drew doesn't like
nope.
He's tired of it.
So, with a heavy sigh, Drew just takes a deep breath and smiles a little bit and well, it's nice to meet you. I'm glad to know that you're here now. I mean, would have loved to know that you were here before now, but plot doesn't work that way, I guess.
The only thing I have to say in my defense is I hide a lot, and it's not entirely intentional.
Drew kind of shrugs, like, they get that.
That's just like, I mean, Tess is just like, their first instinct all the time is hide.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's learning. He's learning to not sneak up on people that much. Because they just sort of snuck up on Drew. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I think Drew will turn back and look at the hay bales that are all fucked up, and then turn back to Tess and just, did you do this?
Tess looks a little bit put on the spot, like, oh no. I think I might have. I was not intending to make him look that bad. Probably should have just wandered off in the forest and found something to throw stuff at there.
I'm not mad. I can remake them. You're the second person in the past 2 weeks to have mentioned that name to me. I still don't know who that is, but
it's technically her farm.
Yeah, I learned that about a week ago.
She's letting me stay here. There's just a lot of people showing up around here lately. It's interesting, but I can't say I expected.
Well, I can say that I've never met her, so I don't know. But I will
Yeah,
say that this is not a problem. But have you considered, like, bringing something to throw stuff at? What are you throwing?
Tess just opens their mouth and closes their mouth, and they have really weird glowy teeth too. There's this a long moment. Usually I just find like a tree or something, but I figured these were also stationary objects. Uh, I might be throwing daggers at them. I'm not trying to throw them at anybody. I'm trying to throw them at things that are not like they're objects. Yes,
Drew,
that's that.
Drew,
Tess just
no,
trails off.
Drew nods, like they get it, and they sort of get like this pondering look on their face, like they're doing a think. They're doing a
Do I
big
think?
think right now.
Big
Um,
thinky.
hmm.
Tess is just like kind of like shifting side to side a little bit, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just throw things at something that is simply not a person when I'm trying to practice. I don't know what you're talking
um,
about.
um,
Because
I
usually just he just like picks a tree and goes, I'm gonna hit that knothole with my dagger and then tosses it.
okay. I think after a minute of Drew, just fucking letting Tess do that, they're gonna be
Let
like,
Tess just do a minute.
yep, they're going to like snap their fingers and just you try to clean up some of the hay, and I'll be right back. Okay?
I can do that. Yes, I was tempted to make the mess in the first place. I can clean it up. It's
Um,
just gonna wander off to the nearest email, probably the one he was hiding behind.
yep. And Drew is going to jog off back towards the house.
I need to roll against the hay. That's a
I'm
very
gonna
good question.
say, I'm gonna
Sleight
say,
of hand, maybe? I don't.
I was just gonna say Dex to like roll it all
Oh,
back up.
okay. Delightful. Okay. Dex's he's. It's not great. That's 13.
I mean,
It
it's
takes
better
him a
than,
minute. He's trying to figure out how to deal with a bunch of hay. It's
yep.
probably just stacked up on top of the hay
And
bale.
it's better than average. So I say it takes you a minute, but then you get the hang of it, and you're like, oh, this is actually like kind of simple. Okay.
Probably should have done this when I finished the other day. I didn't realize because it had gotten dark and I can see in the dark, but I kind of missed all the hay.
Yep. So
There's a train of thought going on in his brain.
after I'm gonna say like a good few minutes pass, and um, Drew comes back with like what look like makeshift squares and some boards and a toolbox. Should I should theoretically roll strength to see if they can carry all of this or some shit.
Did you roll strength and see if it takes him like one or two trips?
Mm, I might roll dex instead of strength. Not that it matters because the modifier's the same.
Drew is strong. Tess is not strong.
I wish you hadn't said that. Like, genuinely, I wish you hadn't said that because
Oh
you're about to look
no.
like a clown.
Oh no. I'm just looking at the modifiers because, well, Tess's
So,
modifier is a 0 for strength. I'm sorry.
that was a 6. So, it probably took Drew a good few, like half the time they were gone, just trying to position all of this shit to a point where they could carry it without, like, whacking themselves in the face with it. But they
Oh
get there. But
no.
Tess doesn't know that. Tess doesn't need to know that. They get back
Tess
to
is
the.
just busy with hay.
Yes, exactly. Tess did a lot better with hay than Drew did picking up all this crap. Anyway, Drew gets back to the barn, and Tess has no idea that that happened. And they sort of set all the stuff to the side with a, and okay. And what they're gonna do is they are going to start. Oh my goodness, excuse me. They're gonna start sorting the squares apart and then positioning the boards in what look like. It kind of looks like makeshift signs, but like separated because they aren't put together yet.
Tess is probably just still busy like dealing with the last hay bale and then just turns around and looks over his shoulder at all of this with a very confused look, but like he just tilts it to the side and stares for a moment, and then shrugs and shoves the last bit of hay back on top of the hay bale and wanders over, just continues staring. Like he doesn't know what Drew is making, and he's just like,
Roll
all right,
intelligence.
I'm gonna watch.
Roll intelligence.
All right. We'll see how well this works. Oh no.
I say, knowing that you have a negative modifier.
That's an 18.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. Okay. So,
Tess is apparently doing well in intelligence for once.
Tess can have a little intelligence as a treat. So, with your magical 18, you can kind of get the feeling that Drew's making signs of some kind. You can't, like, there's no markings on the squares, so you're not really sure. But also, like, you kind of get the hunch that this might be, like, a thing for you to throw stuff at. That's a lot more solid than hay.
Neat. Like, Tess is just like, interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna watch this now.
I suppose I should probably make some rolls.
He's probably just sat down near Drew like an oversized dog and just staring. And if Drew like seems to need extra pair of hands, he'll help, but he doesn't know what to get in the way. So he's like,
okay, so I'm gonna just make some rolls here real quick.
Do it.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna just do it like this, and then just send them all at once. Okay. Okay.
Those do seem to be good rolls.
Yeah. So I rolled 3 dex checks to see if Drew can put together 3 like put the boards and the squares and shit together to make essentially 3 signs, but these are they're basically like blank signs. Like I'm picturing like Minecraft signs, but the top part where you would write on it is like thicker and like sturdier. It's like a very sturdy Minecraft sign. But I got a 19, a 21, and a 16, so I stopped fiddling with my dice and dropping it all over the place. A 19, a 21, and a 16. So I would say that these are decently made boards. And then they kind of like think for a second and just they look at Tess and just, you wouldn't happen to have like pain or something, would you?
I'm gonna.
I would roll hammer space,
I'm
but I
gonna
don't.
roll hammer space because Tess doesn't know if he has any.
I would roll hammer space, but I'm willing to bet that Drew does not have paint in their hammer space.
Tess doesn't have paint, but also I think Toons can just roll for random little things.
Yeah, they can.
I have forgotten. Hammer is a D10. I don't have a D10 dice on. Hold on. A D10 hiding. Oh, D10. Come here. There we go. Got a D10 now. That's a 2. It's not a 1. So I think he pulls out some paint.
Yep.
It's like.
Is it like spray paint or like house paint?
It's probably just average paint. He probably just got it somewhere, and he doesn't remember at this point.
Is it like a little tube or like a big can?
It might be a can of paint. That somebody he was gonna. he might have picked it up for some reason.
Okay.
Maybe for playing a joke on his brother or something.
Okay. For funsies, I will roll a D10 to see if Drew has a brush or something. Okay.
I wonder what color it is. I'm gonna say it might be like bright green.
So I got an 8. So I did not fact.
That's it. That's just you just rolled it. I don't think it was a D. You just.
Oh no! I'm using physical dice. So like when you do it like that, that's just how you would do it.
Oh gosh. Okay.
But I rolled an 8, so Drew reaches behind their back and sort of pulls out like a sort of like thick paintbrush, like the kind that you would like paint like the walls of your house with or something like that. And they'll use like a screwdriver or something out of the toolbox, and I'm not gonna roll for that because that's not a hammer space.
It's a
That's a
toolbox.
toolbox.
There's gotta be a screwdriver in there. Come on.
I hope. I hope.
If there's not one, it's a
I'm blaming
shattered
Lau.
toolbox.
I'm blaming Lau.
Sorry, Lau. You will get
I'm
poked
not.
stickers
I'm
pointed
not
at you.
sorry. I'm not sorry. Peck that bird. Anyway. So Drew grabs the screwdriver and opens the can of paint, and then sets the lid and the screwdriver to the side and takes the paintbrush and paints like 2 circles and then like a dot in like a target fashion on each of the signs.
I want to say Tess just staring at that because he doesn't. Like, I think he can infer hit the dot. He doesn't understand why there's a bunch of other circles. Because he's always gone just, there's a point. Try and hit the point. So he's kind of curiously staring with his big old hood and cloak on.
I think Drew like takes the like paintbrush and like scrapes some of the extra paint back into the can before trying to close it. I'm gonna do this because if it works, it would be funny. So first, I'm gonna roll intelligence.
Do it.
So that's a 10. So that's average. I'm trying to figure out. I might roll a d2 to see if this is something they would actually like do. Okay, so I'm gonna make a strength check now. Oh, nice. So
What'd you get? What'd you get?
I got a 23 on the strength check. So let me
Oh,
explain
snap.
what just
Strong
happened.
little robot.
Yeah, they're barbarian. I hope so.
Drunk.
So let me explain what just happened. So I first rolled intelligence and got a 10. So Drew knows that you have to pound on the lid of a paint can to like make sure that it's sealed so your paint doesn't get gross. And then I rolled a d2 to decide if they were going to hit the paint can with their bare hands or if they were going to grab something out of the toolbox first. And then I rolled a strength check for Drew to essentially like pound with their bare hands the lid back onto the paint can, and I got a 23. So Drew balls up a fist and taps the lid of the paint can like you would with a hammer to make sure that it's closed. So
amazing.
I love playing
Drew is a hammer.
Stupid people.
Drew is the hammer now.
Drew is the hammer now.
Just hit some nails with your fist, problem solved.
Oh my god. I don't understand how this bot can like know how to do like extreme math equations and do stuff, but also be so fucking
Intelligence
stupid.
versus wisdom. Intelligence versus
Drew
wisdom.
has both though. They're just stupid.
They have the book smarts, but not the practical smarts.
Oh no, they have both smarts. They're just stupid. They have the smarts. They just don't apply them.
The smarts are turned off about 90% of the time. Don't worry about it.
Yep. Anyway,
They're a robot. They just turn that off.
God, okay, so Drew does this and sets the paint can off to the side. And
You know the funniest thing?
what?
Tess probably just assumes that's how it's done now.
Yep.
Because he never really.
Tess.
He might have helped paint some stuff, but he probably doesn't know like specifics of how or why you do things.
Tess, honey, I'm so sorry. So Drew will hand your paint can back to you and stand up and sort of like brush their hands off, you know, and just those will take a little bit to dry because it's paint. But once they do, we can set up a place close to the barn to sink them into the ground so you have something a bit more sturdier to throw stuff at.
Is that what? That's what they're using?
Yeah, they're
Tess is just,
targets.
Tess just kind of, he kind of looks a little caught off guard now that he's realized, like, oh, that's what they're used for.
Drew just kind of looks at him like, yeah, they're targets. So you don't have to throw out the hay bales anymore.
I was. I'm going to just roll. I'm just going to roll something to see if Tess just kind of gets over it or if he takes a minute. Where's my dice go?
Tess.
Here. He kind of he looks a bit caught off guard for a long second, and then he kind of just like visibly shakes his head. He's like, "No, yeah, yes, okay, it's fine. It's yes, I signs in the ground for targets. Yes, okay."
Can I roll like insight?
Yes, please do.
Come on, Drew. Okay.
Should have just got out my whole set of dice instead of just the dice I thought I'd use. Because now I'm using all the ones I didn't think I'd use.
Second of 17.
Tess didn't realize they were being put in the ground. He thought he was just gonna get. They thought they were just gonna be leaned against a tree or something.
Nope.
And I was like, wait a second, this is like you're doing something more permanent. Okay.
Is that?
I think Tess probably is like Drew probably gets it. Tess is very caught off guard by how much work. Like this is more work he expected Drew to go to the effort of.
Like Drew's just like, I'm getting out of doing work that Lau wants me to do. Peck that bird. Or maybe they did all their work for the day and they were like in the process of like making sure everything was cleaned up before they got to go home, and then that's when they ran into Tess and they were like, I mean, this is for fun and this helps somebody. Someone who isn't Lau. Let's preface this. Someone who isn't Lau. God, I bully Lau so much, but like genuinely, I love Lau. Like as a kid.
Same. I'm still laughing because Tess and Drew have such opposite opinions of Lau. It's hilarious.
Oh, see,
Tess is very intimidated, and it's kind of like, oh, Lau must know a lot because he hasn't run into Lau's cooking experiences before. Let's just say that.
Oh God. Meanwhile,
he's just interacting with Lau like libraries and stuff where Lau clearly knows what he's doing.
I said this in the FPS earlier too, but like fucking, I love that Drew only becomes rude TM when hanging around Lau. Drew is just the smuggest, bitchiest guy that ever existed, but only when he's around Lau. If he's around everyone else, he's literally like anybody else, he's the sweetest fucking bot ever. But if he's around Lau, it's just God. Anyway,
rude mode engaged.
Yes. Yeah. But Drew cleans up the tools and stuff and looks at Tess and points at the toolbox and just, I'm gonna take this back to the house. And they'll point at the signs. Don't touch those because you might smear the paint all over the place.
Tess was probably like not sniffing at it, but kind of like curiously looking at one of them. He probably just like pulls back like, nope, I will not touch. Definitely not.
Okay. Drew takes off again. I want to say roll a con save to see whether or not you fuck up the target, the paint.
A con save.
Make a con save to see whether or not you fuck up the paint.
Unfortunately, that's an unnatural 21.
Okay, so you have the restraint to not like fuck up the paint.
Jess is always staring at them like, wanna poke, but I'm not gonna poke. Because I'm told directly, do not do this. So I'm being good.
I love Tess so much. Oh my God.
He's trying.
He's doing his fucking best. So I think Drew's gone for, I don't know, a handful of minutes and comes back. Oh goodness, excuse me.
This is probably, I think, like flopped down the ground. So he's just like a big old sprawled out lizard with a big old blanket cloak over top of him.
Yep. I think before coming back to the back,
there's sunlight. He's wearing a black cloak.
Yep.
Cat instincts engaged. Let's go.
So, I think Drew goes straight into the barn, and grabs a shovel because I'm imagining there's a shovel in there, and if there's not, well, Sorte and
There's
Duke
one
can.
now.
There's one now because I said so. Anyway, um, uh, brain broke. Um, they'll grab the shovel, and I'm gonna make some rolls to see how good they are at digging a hole. Okay.
Does Tess? I don't know if Tess has much that would help with that. Hold on. Nope, not really. All of his stuff is like piercing slash like bladed weapons, and he has nothing that he has no. He's not a druid. He has no worse spells at all. Sorry, Tess. You are very much a one-trick pony.
Okie dokie. So I made 3 dex checks again to see if Drew can dig holes for these signs. I got a 16, a 16, and a 14, so they're pretty decent holes.
Tess is probably gonna. I'm gonna roll strength, I think, and see if Tess can help like move the signs around when. Will it be strength or dex? Either or.
We'll get to that in a second. Drew's gonna put the shovel away first and then come back and just come back and pick up one of the signs and just you can grab one if you want. And I'm gonna make a dex check to see because Drew's short. The dice fell on the floor. I can't wait for my dice to get here.
Tess, well, if it's a dex, he rolled a 7. If it's strength, he rolled a 3.
So
Tess is trying, but like he's trying to like hold it with one hand without standing up, and then he probably like drops it slightly, and then it's just like.
So I'm gonna say with the 7 and the 6 that the two of them got, they both go to pick up the signs and just like the signs just slip out of their hands like fucking, you know. So they both were just like they both dropped the signs and then sort of look up at each other like, bitch, what the fuck? And then
we will not speak of this again.
I say we should roll dex again, but at advantage this time because
Tess is going to stand up to grab this one. That's a 13. It's a little better. Tess just stands up, and now he's just really tall.
So
now he can use 2 hands to carry it. He was like, I probably should not have tried to carry that with one hand.
Tess picks up his sign, no problem. Drew, on the other hand.
Oh no. What did Drew get? No.
Drew got a nat fucking 1 for a total of 4.
Oh no. With advantage?
Yeah, I didn't roll the advantage yet, but I was so overcome with despair from rolling a nat 1. Okay, this is a lot better. Thank God I said that we got advantage on this because that's a 14.
I didn't roll advantage either.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's 23.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, so
yeah, I forgot to roll the advantage.
Tess stands up and picks up the sign, no problem. Drew, on the other hand, just fucking can't even pick up the sign and is just like, what the fuck? And picks up the sign normally like a normal person would. So basically they just short circuited like a sim does when Sims try to do anything and then picks up the sign like it's nothing.
Amazing. This just has a sign resting on one shoulder. It's just like kind of glancing between Drew and the holes, like, do I go put this in the hole? Like, do you want me to do this now? Or are you waiting for me to, like, follow you?
Drew will, like, wave their hand
as... thinking.
Drew will, like, wave their hand, like, you can go on ahead without me as they pick up the sign and just... like, Drew, this is why I've made it canon that Drew can't climb fences. These horrible-ass dex rolls, this is why. Because never... ever doing dex-related shit have I rolled well as Drew. I think the one time that I did was when Drew climbed the tree with Margaret. That was the whole one time that a dex roll went well for Drew.
Oh, no. Poor robot.
Anyway, so they both carry a sign around the holes, and they get the hole. They get the holes. They get the signs into the holes, no problem, and they're sturdy, and it gets in. They set up the signs, basically. Words are starting
signs are acquired.
Yes. The words are starting to fail me. I'm going to roll another dex check to get the third sign. Oh, thank God! So
Oh,
I can officially add a new decent dex roll to Drew's
fantastic,
list.
amazing.
So they go and they get the third sign,
He
no
used up all his
problem.
bad luck on the first one.
Yeah, I fucking guess. They go and they get the third sign and they set it up, no problem. So now there are three targets,
And
and
a very tall lizard just kind of confusedly glancing between Drew and them. But
um,
he's not saying anything. He's trying to be polite.
yep, I think Drew is going to take a few steps away, and that was a 6. Oops. I forgot to put the 6. Anyway, that was a 6 on a hammer space roll, so Drew's going to take a good few steps away and sort of motion for Tess to get out of the way, and they're going to reach into their hammer space and pull out a hand axe, and I clicked on the folder instead of Mozilla Firefox. So,
Tess is gonna skitter behind, like drop back to all fours and skitter behind Drew now that he realizes what Drew's doing.
okay, I need to
Very
roll
quick
this.
skitter. Lizard goes bird.
Okay, I'm so glad that I have a +6 to. Well, that's if I'm swinging. Well, it's to attack. Well, should I? I've never thrown my hand axe before. Uh,
There's probably
it's an
rules
FPS.
on.
I can just
Yeah.
say whatever I want. It's an
Yeah,
FPS.
no,
It
wait,
doesn't
but
matter.
yeah, who cares?
It's an FPS. I can say whatever I want. So
It matters in games.
I
It's
got
fine.
so. Let me. So Drew got a 12. I'm throwing their hand axe. It's better than 10, and the target doesn't move, and it's made out of wood. So I'm gonna say that that hits. Not gonna roll damage because it's a
There's
sign.
like two that are like a sort of equal distance away, and then there's like one that's farther away in like the middle.
Yeah. So Drew is like throwing at one of the closer ones and probably hits it on like the outermost circle. But the sign holds just fine, and the axe like it doesn't like heavily sink in, but like it sticks in there, and Drew's like, it works. That was the goal, the target that works. So Drew's
Oh,
gonna
very
like
nice.
make a motion, like step aside and make a motion to where they were just standing for Tess to try it.
You don't mind? Uh, wait, no. If I guess if you find
Drew
Tess
shakes
is
their head and
files for
just Drew shakes their head and just like motions to the targets.
All right. Well, I think Tess stands back up to his ridiculous amount of height because
Yep.
I love
It's what,
taller
7 foot?
everything.
It's 7 foot,
7 feet
right?
tall.
Yeah.
He's very tall. He's twice as tall standing up as he is on all fours.
Yep. It's funny because
Uh,
I would have to pull up the height comparison, and I think while you make your rolls to throw, I'm going to do that to see how tall Drew is in comparison.
so Tess is gonna stand up, and he kind of reaches over his shoulder to like the glowing spikes in his back, and he kind of grabs one, like pulls his hand forwards again, and kind of like there's kind of like a kind of like weird like buzzy staticky effect, and then he's holding like a whole like dagger looking spiky thing in his hand. Like
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm trying to figure out how to describe this better, but you know, words are who needs words anyway.
Words
It's
in my
gonna kind of
FPS? Nah.
nah, we're just here to have fun. Who cares about words anyway? It's gonna probably kind of glance, make sure that JayJay. I'm sorry, I was looking at the usernames.
JayJay
True.
Toonkind real.
JayJay Toonkind real.
Once again.
Make sure Drew is out of the way. Once
Drew's,
again, who needs words anyway?
Drew's behind Tess. Like, not
Yeah.
standing directly behind because they want to see how Tess does, but also, like.
They're not hiding behind Tess. Tess is gonna glance, make sure that Drew is out of the way. I was in it again. Come on,
Yep.
English, don't fail me now.
English
And he's
and
gonna
Go
he's
ahead.
gonna kind of spin just a slightly and like whip the dagger forward at the closer one. Let's say the other closer one.
Okay.
The other closer one, English. You know,
Roll the attack. Roll the
it's
attack.
not great. That's 12.
I mean,
They
that's
both
what.
rolled 12.
Yep. So I think Tess throws their electric dagger or whatever this is, and it hits the outer circle, the exact opposite side. So like Drew's axe landed on like the right
Amazing.
side of the outer circle, while Tess's dagger thing lands on the left side of the outer circle. but they hit it.
Here's a question. I'm trying to figure out how psionic rogues work, and I think.
Oh,
Oh no!
beloved, don't
This is
ask
not.
me. I don't
This is
know.
not an ability check. I'm not gonna use it. Cool. I'm just trying to figure out how to do tests. How to test? I don't know. But I'm gonna roll something real quick because I'm. This is for my own. This is for my own laughter. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna say it's not. He's not actually dealing damage because technically these things aren't physical. They're psychic.
Oh.
So he's. It kind of. There's sort of like a little weird like singe mark. It's not like. It's not burnt. It's just a weird mark on it now.
Mm-hmm. But it
And
is.
then it kind of sticks in there for a moment and then fades.
Mm-hmm. Drew kind of watches
Well, the dagger
this.
fails. The dagger fades, not the mark.
Yeah. Drew kind of watches this and like you don't have to roll insight. They think that that
I'd
was the
love.
coolest fucking shit.
I would love to roll insight. Oh
Oh
no!
no, you don't have to. You don't
Oh
have to. You just get that Drew thinks that
no!
was the
Okay.
coolest fucking shit. Um.
I'm glad because otherwise I was a four.
Oh God, no. Yeah, you just get that.
I'm gonna say Tess is a little bit distracted first, like trying to figure out like I guess that hit. Okay. And then he
Uh,
kind of looks over and looks at Drew and he glances back at that and he just kind of like doesn't say anything, just kind of like, okay. Uh
that was so cool. Drew says that.
aw. It's kind of there's a very quiet moment and then he's like, oh, I mean I also think it's kind of cool. I didn't know if other people minded me doing that, but yeah, okay, yes, he just like splutters a bit.
Drew kind of shrugs and like it goes to pull their hand axe and they get their hand axe out of the sign, and then they'll step off to
He's
the side so Tess can do throw another dagger and they'll walk over to the other like in front of the other sign that's closer and ready their hand axe again.
I'm gonna say you don't have to roll insight. Tess is a little bit floored by Drew thinking that's cool. He's a little bit just like
Help, I love this funky little lizard. I say little as though they're not. Okay. Um
a little spirit.
I love this funky lizard guy.
Honorary, just a little dude, just a little guy.
Honorary, yes. I am going to roll again to see if Drew.
Do it. I'll roll after you're done.
Okay. Well, fuck. Oh no, actually, yeah, no, that I don't remember what I got the first. It's better than it was the first time, but it's still kind of bad. But Drew hits because they've moved on to the other target, so that way Tess can have his own target. So they throw it, and they make it like just inside the outermost circle, because that's a 14. So they still hit it, very no problem. I
Light.
will roll hammer space because I have two hand axes. That's a 9. Okay. Thank God. I thought it was a 1 for a second. I was like, what? No. It's a 9.
Here.
So they reach behind their back and they pull out the other hand axe, and I'll roll for that one. Okay. You're free to make rolls if Tess wants to, like, keep throwing psionic daggers. But that's a 22,
Yeah.
so Drew, with the second hand axe, hits the target square in the middle bullseye. Like, the precise middle.
Okay, I think he can. Ooh, middle. Okay, cool. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna do attack and then bonus attack because I can do it with the daggers. So, uh, 19 for one, and then what was the second one? Eh, 9 plus 16, 19 to 16. Okay, I think one of them's like a little bit not quite in the middle. It's like hitting the edge of the middle of like the middle dot, and then the other one's like solidly inside the second ring. For Tess is like he kind of throws one, spins around, grabs like another spiky dagger thing, and then flings it with his offhand at the same target. I don't even know. Where? I'm just gonna grab all the dice. Hold on. I keep needing more dice because, of course, I'm making all the modifiers different.
I will say that Drew watches Tess
There
do
we go.
that, and their eyes become like the like, you know, like the Steven Universe star shape. Their eyes become like the
Oh,
star shape. Like that's like the coolest shit to them.
what? It's so cool. Tess was probably a little bit occupied with actually throwing them, but one of them really doesn't leave much of a mark at all. It's just like kind of like a fizzle,
I mean,
and then the other one is
you
he's
can
just kind of.
you can roll
Hmm?
like perception and advantage if you want to see that Drew thinks that this
No, I
is the
mean
coolest shit.
I would love to. For fun, I'm still rolling damage dice, and depending on what the dice hit, that's how much of a mark it leaves in the sign. That's a no. That's a one. Tess is too busy throwing the daggers to see what Drew thinks. No.
No, you get advantage. You get advantage, honey.
Advantage. That's another one. How many gets moved out once in a row?
Okay, so
Tess,
I am going to pull up
I'm
the rule
going.
that I used in subtlety out the window because,
I'm,
fun fact, during that FPS, Wick and I had this problem where we were rolling at advantage slash disadvantage and rolling the same goddamn number. So you're going to roll advantage until you get something that isn't a fucking one. Jesus
I am
Christ.
going to grab a different dice. Hold on. The dice are bullying me.
Oh
That's
god.
another one.
What the hell? What the shit?
The dice are cursed.
Just roll
Okay,
the
that's
dice.
a 5.
Okay.
Okay, it was a perception or
It was perception.
that's an 8.
Okay, so 8 for perception. It takes you like a minute because you're fucking irritated or whatever that one of your daggers just made like a, oh god, excuse me, that one of your daggers essentially did the equivalent of hitting the side and making a fart sound. And
It just like if you look at it real closely, it's like a millimeter of space between it and the middle.
yep, like
He's just like, come on now.
yep. And but like eventually you do turn and notice that Drew is just looking at you with like the star eyes, and you can tell that they think you're like the coolest shit.
It's just kind of stares back for a long second, like,
That was
yeah.
so cool.
I'm glad you think so.
Can I roll insight to see if Tess is okay?
Yes, please do, because Tess is kind of a little bit broken. Just Tess.exe stop responding. She's staring back like,
I just got the biggest shit-eating grin on my face. Would you like to know why?
Do it. What did he get? What did he get?
23.
Fantastic!
I love that I can't roll for shit until like the end of every FPS, unless Austin is involved. In which case, Austin. I fucking figured it out. Austin is Drew's good luck charm, which is fucking hilarious.
There you go.
Considering things. Anyway, oh, I haven't told Brainbox about that. I should do that whenever we're done here.
So you get the idea that telling Tess that was cool. Tess doesn't know how to answer that because he doesn't. He's never actually like really dealt with people who think that's cool before. Like recently, he's just like, how do you? Why? What? I'm glad you think it's cool.
Tess brain broke.
I'm not. Tess brain broke. He's just kind of staring. Like, I'm glad you think it's cool. I mean, most people usually think it's intimidating, and I'm glad you think it's cool.
We can keep going if you want. Let me grab my axes first, though. I can't do that.
Tessa's nods like, yes.
So
Let's keep going. This is fun.
Drew goes and grabs their axes out of the sign, and if you're okay with it, I'm gonna.
This is a very big grin on Tessa's face now.
Oh, I'm going to say that the two of them proceed to throw psionic daggers / hand axes at the targets for a while,
I'm
Um,
gonna roll one more because I want to see if Tess actually manages to hit the farther away one well. Eh, that's a 20. Yeah, Tess does manage to hit the farther away one at least once.
what is it? Wait,
You
no.
got 21.
Yeah, Tess manages to hit it at least once. Um, I will roll to see if Drew can hit the faraway target, just for funsies.
Technically, I don't think Tess's daggers have any max range.
Oh my god.
Because it says because up to 60 feet is a normal, and then past it it's just disadvantage. He doesn't have a max range he can't hit,
Mm-hmm.
which
Drew
is
got,
I think it's a little broken, but it's still very funny.
Drew got a 22, so they also managed to hit the further away target at least once with the hand axes. But I say they
Tess, you get a
probably.
little cheer from Tess when he does that.
I will say then, the two of them probably spend a few, like an hour or so, just throwing shit at these signs. And
You
unless
get
you
the
have,
idea this is exactly how the hay bales got broken.
yep. Um, but unless you have anything else, I say that it probably fades to black like that. With
Yeah,
them just
they're just having a good
they're
time.
just throwing shit at these wooden signs. And now Drew knows that there is at least one cryptid. I say at least one because
There's several cryptids at this farm. Let's be
Drew
honest.
Drew has not met any of the other cryptids, but in Drew's mind, Drew does not know whether or not the soup mutated or not. So
There's cryptid. This is a one question mark cryptid.
one question mark cryptid. Um, for context, I would listen if you don't know what I mean by the soup. I would listen to uh that was Tending and Mending, I think. It was the end of Tending and Mending. Um,
That sounds familiar, so I think it might have been.
yeah, so at the end of that
Drew.
FPS, Drew threw some of Lau's cooking that was really, really, really bad. And they threw it into the woods, and then Wick and I were all like, we can make a whole cryptid out of this.
It's free cryptid real estate.
Freak. So the farm has a cryptid now. It's soup. But unless you have anything else, that is the FPS.
Nope, that's it. They just have a good time. And Tess gives a little cheer, starts giving a little cheer for whenever Drew hits like a really good one. Like
Yeah.
after a little bit, like once he gets over his nervousness, he's like cheering Drew on.
This robot is cool. Sort of, maybe, I don't know. But
Tess thinks Drew is cool.
oh.
Tess thinks that Drew thinks they're cool, therefore Tess thinks Drew is like the coolest.
I love this lizard.
Mutual like cool factor.
I love this lizard.
Recursive coolness.
But yes, thank you for playing. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope you all have a wonderful time zone. And goodbye.
Bye bye.